Heartbreak for the Indian women's hockey team. They miss out on their first Olympic medal but go down fighting to Great Britain. A 4-3. The Prime Minister tells them, don't cry, India is proud of you. Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award is renamed after hockey great Dhyanchand. The Prime Minister announces. What about the Narendra Modi Stadium? Twitter reminds the Prime Minister. Hot favourite Bajrang Punia loses in the semis. The world number 1 will now compete for a bronze. Golfer Aditi Ashok finishes second after round 3. If rain washes out the round tomorrow, she bags the silver. If there's a play, she's the favourite to win the medal. Her mother is serving as her caddy. In a boost to India's vaccination program, 2 new vaccines apply for emergency use authorization, the single-dose Johnson & Johnson and Novavax's Covovax. India and China agree to disengage in eastern Ladakh's Gogra region, restoring the line of actual control in the area. A major breakthrough after the latest round of talks between the two neighbours. And in a huge battle with Reliance, a big win for Amazon as the Supreme Court says Reliance cannot go ahead with its $3.4 billion deal to buy Future Group's retail assets. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Gargi Raut. Our top story, India's women's hockey team narrowly missed standing on the podium at the Tokyo Olympics. They went down 4-3 to Great Britain, the 2016 Rio Olympics champions, in a spirited show this morning, losing the bronze but winning hearts across India. This was only the third time Indian women's hockey team has played at the Olympics.
A narrow loss for the Indian women's hockey team in the bronze medal match, but they won a billion hearts with their fighting spirit and the respect of Great Britain, who tweeted, "What an amazing game, what an amazing opponent. You've done something special at Tokyo 2020. The next few years look very bright." Even before playing today's match, the Indian women had already made history by reaching an Olympic semi-final for the first time. Down 2-0 within the first 20 minutes of play against Great Britain, they made a stunning comeback right after. Through Gurjit Kaur's drag flicks to make it 2-2. In a magical second quarter, Vandana Kataria made it 3-2 for India, but in the third and fourth quarters, Britain, the Rio gold medalists, scored twice to stun India. Among the most poignant images after the defeat, Savita Punia, India's veteran goalkeeper, down on her knees and in tears.
बहुत अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया है, बच्चों ने सारों ने बहुत अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया है. ये हार नहीं है, ये जीत है. मैं अपने बच्चे के टीम के लिए सारों को करता है.
You didn't win the medal. We want maybe something bigger, and it's inspiring the nation and young girls in India. And the girls don't realize that yet.
From initial losses to scripting a major turnaround by reaching the semi-finals, the Tokyo campaign has been the stuff of dreams for the Indian women, and the effort was lauded by many, including the Prime Minister.
आपका पसीना आज देश की करोड़ों बेटियों की प्रेरणा बन गया है.
नमस्कार.
Odisha CM Naveen Patnaik spoke to the girls as well.
लड़कियां, आपने बहुत मेहनत किया है, बहुत अच्छा खेला था. अपने गेम हार गया पर हमारे दिल जीत गए.
A podium finish may have eluded Rani Rampal's team in Tokyo, but they have fought for a very credible 4th place. In New Delhi, Rika Roy for NDTV.
So just who are these Chakte girls, the Super 16 who defied the odds to fly high at Tokyo? Well, here are their amazing life stories, their road to glory filled with bumps and hurdles.
Rani Rampal, a handcart puller's daughter from Shabad in Kurukshetra. Savita Punia from a family of farmers in Jodkhan village in Haryana. Lal Ramsyami, a farmer's daughter from remote Kolasib in Mizoram. Nikki Pradhan from Hisal, a Naxal stronghold in Jharkhand. Deep Grace Ekka from a tribal family in Odisha. Gurjeet Kaur from the tiny Miadi Kalan village near Amritsar, Vandana Kataria from Uttarakhand's Roshnabad, and a team of 9 Olympic debutants are now heroes who are inspiring an entire nation. The wall of the women's team, Savita Punia, made at least dozen saves in a nail-biting finish. The 31-year-old's journey to being one of the finest women goalkeepers in the country is nothing short of incredible.
इसके पास 3-3 बैग होते थे, वो कहीं रखने के लिए जगह नहीं मिलती थी। जब कंडक्टर को मूव करना होता है, उसको हर्डल बनता है, पैर लगा के रहे ये बैग किसका भाई, इसको उठाओ। सरकार को थोड़ा इस तरफ ध्यान दे के उस तरह की सुविधाएं प्रोवाइड करनी चाहिए।
Captain Courageous 26-year-old Rani Rampal's father is a cart puller who at times couldn't even afford 2 square meals a day for his family. With so much riding on Rani's success, the tension was palpable in the Rampal residence in Kurukshetra's Shabad town as the match played out. Rani's uncle kept running to a gurdwara in between the match to offer prayers. Her proud father spoke only at the end of the match.
मैं अब भी कह रहा हूँ इस चीज को, ये हार नहीं है, ये जीत है। मैं अपने बच्चे के टीम के लिए सारे को करता है। कोच बलदेव सिंह ने जो बच्चों को
Just a kilometer away from Rani Rampal's house stays Navjot Kaur, who played famously against the Australians in the quarterfinals. 26-year-old Navjot Kaur is the daughter of Satnam Singh, is a small motorcycle mechanic in Kurukshetra. Satnam Singh gets emotional while talking about his struggles.
के शूज जो बच्चे कोई 1000 के पाता था, हम 500 के लेके दे देते थे, 400 के लेके दे देते।
सारा जो पैसा बच्चों में लगा दिया, अपने लिए खरीदारी नहीं की, कम की।
वो तो ये है ना, बाद में भी हो जाएगी, पहले बच्चों को जरूरी है, बच्चों को देना बहुत जरूरी था उस टाइम।
Overcoming all odds, Bharat ke Sherniya have made history, reigniting passion for the sport and inspiring many young hockey players to dream of a podium finish at the next games in Paris. With Mohammad Ghazali in Sirsa and Saurabh Shukla in Kurukshetra, Rika Roy for NDTV.
Now India is hoping to win its 6th medal at the ongoing Tokyo Olympics when Bajrang Punia takes on Russia's Gadzimurad Rashidov in the bronze medal match. Hot favourite Bajrang Punia lost his semi-final match 5-12 against Haji Aliyev of Azerbaijan in the men's freestyle 65 kilos. The world number 1 will now fight for the bronze medal. Now, India's hopes of a first Olympic medal in golf lie with 23-year-old golfer Aditi Ashok. If the match doesn't resume due to weather, then the scores till the 3rd round will be counted and Aditi will win the silver medal. If the game resumes, she still has a shot at the gold.
Aditi Ashok, one of India's medal hopefuls, making an unusual number of her fellow citizens follow what is happening in Olympics golf. After round 3 in the individual women's event, she stands in 2nd position after world number 1 Nelly Korda. The young Bengalurian, unlike other athletes at this pandemic-era event, has some family support in Tokyo. Her mother is serving as her caddy.
Aditi started golf here, I think, as young as about 6 years. She was 6 years and 2 months when she first started playing here. Yeah. And even in her younger days, her father used to caddy for her, and then I think recently her mother started caddying for her. Yes, both the parents have sacrificed a lot for her.
On Saturday, Aditi, who made her Olympic debut in Rio with her father as caddy, will hope to seal a medal for her country in the 4th and final round of the women's individual stroke play event.
Golf is a mind game. Aditi is very talented and very dynamic. Yes. And accompanying the parents, she gets a lot of confidence.
Her city of Bengaluru and her state of Karnataka are proud. Karnataka Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar tweeted encouragement. All eyes on the Olympics golf event on Saturday morning. The Bangalore Golf Club has a lot of history. It began in 1876. And the club is hoping that one of its members, young Aditi Ashok, all of 23 years old, makes history of her own at the Tokyo Olympics. She began playing here at the age of 6 and the self-confident young woman has never looked back. With Govind Murthy, Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.
Now, on a day when hockey returned to the limelight thanks to the exceptional performances of the Indian men's hockey and women's hockey teams at the Tokyo Olympics, the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award was renamed Dhyanchand Khel Ratna Award. Social media users welcomed the move, agreeing that sporting awards should be named after sports persons and not politicians, but also pointed out that it was just in February that a cricket stadium in Ahmedabad was named after the Prime Minister.
श्री विराट कोहली को वर्ष 2018 के लिए राजीव गांधी खेल रत्न पुरस्कार से सम्मानित किया जाता है।
Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award, the highest sporting honor of India, renamed after the Indian hockey legend and greatest Olympian Dhyanchand. He won the hockey gold in 3 Olympics. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced the decision in a series of tweets stating, "I have been getting many requests from citizens across India to name the Khel Ratna Award after Major Dhyanchand. I thank them for their views. Respecting their sentiment, the Khel Ratna Award will hereby be called the Major Dhyanchand Khel Ratna Award. Jai Hind."
जो खेल अवार्ड है वो खिलाड़ी के नाम होने चाहिए और मेजर ध्यानचंद से बड़े खिलाड़ी इस देश में हुए नहीं है। जिस तरीके से उनकी अचीवमेंट है इस देश के लिए तो बहुत ऐतिहासिक है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है पूरा देश इसका समर्थन करेगा और पूरे देश आज खुश होगा इस अवार्ड को रीनेम करने के बाद।
However, Twitterati soon pointed out the irony. How the cricket stadium in Ahmedabad renamed after Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Delhi's Firoz Shah Kotla Stadium after BJP's late Arun Jaitley. Politicians having hold over institutions and their names has been an old malaise, and while the BJP is trying to course correct by renaming Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi names in the honor of our sportspersons, why exemptions have been made in naming either the Motera Stadium in Gujarat after Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself or this stadium in the national capital after the name of late BJP leader Arun Jaitley. Soon after the decision, Congress leaders lashed out at government.
मुझे आश्चर्य नहीं हुआ क्योंकि सरदार पटेल स्टेडियम का नाम बदल के नरेंद्र मोदी स्टेडियम किया गया था, तो हमें तो उम्मीद थी कि वो इसका नाम भी नरेंद्र मोदी के नाम से करेंगे.
There should not be opposition when you give a sports person an award in a name of such a big legend. I think people will feel honored.
BJP leaders posted a list of 19 stadiums across the country named after former Prime Ministers from Jawaharlal Nehru to Rajiv Gandhi. With camera person Sushil Rathi, Akshay Donge for NDTV.
Now, in a major breakthrough, India and China disengaged in eastern Ladakh's Gogra region, restoring the line of actual control in the area after the latest round of talks between the two neighbors took place in July, that's 31st of July. Now, this comes after nearly 15 months of a face-off. Vishu Shom gets us the details.
What has happened today is very, very significant because after a very long time when there was actually no progress despite several rounds of talks, India and China have agreed to disengage in the Gogra area. This is where there's been a face-off for 15 odd months. And what will now take place is that Indian soldiers will return to permanent bases on our side. The Chinese soldiers will return to permanent bases on their side. Now, the disengagement process, very interestingly, has been happening over the last couple of days. Neither side has actually been talking about it. It's only now when the process is over that India has actually announced that this has taken place. Perhaps most significantly, the sanctity of the line of actual control in this particular area, in the Gogra area, according to army sources I have spoken to, has been restored to our perception of the line of actual control. There are two other very large flashpoints. One is in Hot Springs, the smaller of the two. That's not too far from Gogra. And one, as you can see up north, is Depsang. And that's where there has been no breakthrough thus far. And perhaps that's the area where the Indian Army and security planners are most concerned about the massive Chinese presence on their side. It is an area which needs to be resolved very soon.
The Supreme Court has handed Amazon a major victory in its fight with Reliance Industries over India's growing e-commerce market. The top court ruled in favor of the American company's efforts to stop its rival Reliance from buying Future Retail, the owner of supermarket chain Big Bazaar and other brands. The e-commerce firm, founded by Jeff Bezos, had been trying to stop the deal since it was announced in October last year.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the Supreme Court, a setback for Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Group. In a battle between two of the world's richest men over Kishore Biyani's Future Group. At stake is India's retail market. Reliance is India's biggest bricks and mortar retailer. Future, the second biggest, and Amazon, the largest e-commerce firm. In a huge win for Amazon against the Future Group, the top court has put on hold, for now, the 24,713 crore rupee buyout of Future by Ambani's Reliance Retail. A two-judge bench said that Singapore Emergency Arbitrator Order putting on hold Future Group Reliance Retail is enforceable. The court confirmed Delhi High Court order holding that Kishore Biyani willfully disobeyed the Emergency Arbitrator Award. The court also confirmed Delhi High Court order on attachment of assets of Biyani and Future Retail directors. Amazon welcomed the top court verdict, saying, "We hope that this will hasten a resolution." However, Future Group, which lost the case, reacted saying that it will exercise the remedies available in law and that the final decision of the Singapore Arbitral Tribunal is awaited. At the stock market, Reliance Industries fell 2.07%. The Future stocks fell 9.94%. The dispute between the Future and Amazon began in 2019 when Amazon bought a 1,400 crore stake in a Future Group company, with Biyani's firm stating that Amazon will have the first right to buy whenever a stake in retail is up for sale. But when Future Retail's shares stumbled, Biyani turned to Amazon for help, and discussions were on from March to August 2020. However, the company announced that Reliance was buying for almost 25,000 crores. Amazon alleged a breach of contract, but the Future Group argued that their agreement was only with a holding company, Future Coupon. Upset over Future Reliance deal, Amazon moved Singapore-based emergency arbitrator, which put on hold the Future deal. Amazon also went to the Delhi High Court, which eventually allowed the process of Reliance's takeover of the Future Group.
The legal battle is not over yet. The focus now shifts to the Delhi High Court, where the Future Group is likely to challenge the Emergency Arbitrator Award. Meanwhile, final decision of the Singapore Tribunal is also awaited. Whoever loses there naturally will take the legal recourse. So it's a long legal battle. With Sakshi Bajaj in New Delhi, this is Arunachalam Vaidyanathan, NDTV.
With that, time for us to slip into a short break. On the other side, we'll get you vaccine news, and Johnson & Johnson and Novavax apply for emergency use authorization in India. The Lok Sabha passed the Taxation Laws Amendment Bill 2021, which will likely help settle disputes with Cairn Energy, Vodafone Group and 15 other companies over retrospective tax demands raised by the union government. The bill was cleared in the lower house amid uproar by opposition parties after Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman made a brief statement about the need for the amendment.
It took Lok Sabha less than 5 minutes to remove the 9-year-old retrospective tax law, criticized as tax error.
There were two cases going on, and the Finance Minister then, Sri Jaitley, had very clearly said, we'll wait for them to reach the logical conclusion. And the logical conclusion was reached in September 2020. We have come to the next available session, which is the monsoon session, which is now, to keep up the word given by the former finance ministers that we don't believe in retrospective application of tax. We are fulfilling that word.
In two of the biggest cases, Vodafone and Cairn Energy were ordered by the government to pay billions of dollars in taxes for deals conducted before the controversial 2012 law. Both won arbitration awards against the government, with Cairn moving foreign courts to seize Indian assets abroad as New Delhi challenged the awards. Tellingly, no opposition party opposed the bill. Both P. Chidambaram and the late Arun Jaitley had opposed the law. Today, the former finance minister from the Congress said, "I'm glad that we have put an end to an issue that has been troubling us for 8 years. In 2014, then Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said, NDA government will not retrospectively create a fresh tax liability and that all fresh cases arising out of 2012 retrospective amendments will be scrutinized by a high-level committee before any action is initiated. Former Finance Secretary Arvind Mayaram tweeted saying that he had to convince Arun Jaitley to include this in his first budget speech in July 2014. But there was stiff resistance from some newly appointed civil servants in powerful places. It had to wait 7 years to fructify. Just recently, a US government report cited the law to highlight how, according to the report, India remains a challenging place to do business.
As the Taxation Laws Amendment Bill is considered as a money bill, it need not be passed in the Rajya Sabha and it's expected to get the President's assent within 14 days. The government wants to send a message to the foreign investors that they can expect a stable and predictable tax regime. With camera person Prem Singh, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.